rule, bossing up the role.
Let's go!
Let's get it!
It's not if you own the company or not, it's how you own the role.
I feel like I'm patient right now.
Guess what? It is your corner office. Season 2, bigger and better. And guess what? You don't think it's not yet? Check it out. We're the end of the place. Undercover. Easy yourself.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
Jamaica's old capital, Spanish Town, was a virtual tinderbox on Thursday as residents and gunmen banded together to defend the former strongman, former leader of the One Order gang, Tickman they called him, his name, Othni Laban, who was killed during a shootout with members of the constabulary force at about 10 p.m. on Wednesday evening. Commerce locked down in the city, students having to be sent home early from school, and those who dared to brave the town center to conduct business were running for cover as gunmen and police went at it. We'll speak to some key interests from Spanish Town, St. Catherine, to assess the situation and to see if Friday will be much better than Thursday certainly was. Our reporter who was there, T.G. Kelly, will report firsthand what she saw in the old capital. This is Lead Story on this Thursday. Let's start the show.
Spanish Town, St. Catherine remains under heavy police presence following a series of crimes in the area. The day started out with much fear as reports of a fire at the Courts Bargain Center spread rapidly through the town.
So this is a shattered piece of glass, a part of the many pieces that are on the ground. The stuff inside are pretty much damaged. There are refrigerators, there are stoves. The damage, we don't know how much it will cost them, but it looks extensive.
Can't specifically speak as regard to details, but prior to our clients, we owe them an obligation. So we provide that specific coverage, that peace of mind, and as regard to reassurance.
The incident, along with roadblocks in numerous sections of the town, forced public passenger vehicle drivers to find alternate routes to the town square, while others simply turned back. Even JUTC operators were no longer using their designated park. Spanish Town was slowly becoming a ghost town. However, for some areas, it was business as usual.
The Christmas wasn't really the best Christmas I ever seen. So the Christmas was really slow. So I didn't really make a lot of profit. I didn't know it's January. So I just come out early to see if I could pick a little much and go back in.
When you go home and less we see every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every year when we will turn the light on.
But as the day progressed, the police ramped up their security efforts.
As you can see behind me, law enforcement is making their way yet into another community where they are searching. So we've seen them searching buses, unloading buses, searching vehicles, searching even people on the road. I know we've even seen students, parents picking up their children from school. We've seen students leaving the town. For the most part, that's the aim for everybody here in the town square. They're trying to evacuate.
One thing is certain, as it is now, we have the area under control. I do understand that persons, in fear. Some persons close business early. Some schools are now closed, and we understand that precaution. But I want you to trust us that we have things under control now, and people really can go about their lawful business.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Well, the situation, bad, if you can call it that in plain Jamaican language. The situation was so bad, the story was picked up in the United Kingdom. The UK's leading news website, The Guardian, theguardian.co.uk or guardian.com, picked up the story and has a story on its homepage that Jamaican gangsters and the police in a battle which forced large parts of the old capital to be locked down. So it's a story picked up by the international media, and it doesn't reflect well on the state of security in the country. I think I'll take my break now, and when I come back, I'll hear from T.G. Kelly, Trisha Gay Kelly, who was on the ground, as you saw there in her report, drinking in first hand. I can't say drinking in because it wasn't a pleasure trip. She was experiencing firsthand what was happening in Spanish Town, a place not many dared to tread earlier on this Thursday.
Welcome everybody, we are back.
Season 2 of the Holy Road. Season 2, we are here. Let me tell you, I am super excited to be on for another season to show you the Holy Road.
Listen, new adventures, we might be moving further out of Kingston, further out of anywhere nearby, to find the crevices and the corners that have the most unique stories.
Yep, the #1 news website in the UK, The Guardian, picking up this story about the problems in Spanish Town. Trisha Gay Kelly joins me on the set. Trish, good evening. A good job out there today. Did you feel safe?
Thank you, George. I felt a little bit nervous because I know how Spanish Town gets when there's a war. So a little bit nervous, but I felt assured when police officers were coming around. So it wasn't that bad for me.
What was the vibe being transmitted by the people you spoke to? Did you get the sense they were putting on a brave face, or they were genuinely terrified about what may happen beyond what happened yesterday into last night with the killing of Othniel Loban?
Well, when I got there initially, I'm coming from Linstead, so the bus didn't even get to Spanish Town in the town square. We were let off close to the town and told to walk if we wanted to go there. And it turned right back with everybody else who decided they wanted to go back. But the people who came with me, you know, everybody's running, trying to get to where they're getting to quickly because you don't want to be in the town and something happens. So it's terrifying for them. But on the other side of things, there are people who are there selling. Like, it's business as usual, and they explain to you, yeah, we're out here, I try and make a living. And it's almost like they're used to it, to get back to reality and, you know, expecting that things will just pick up again. So that was the case for many of them.
So as you worked the town, so what were you saying? So are you saying that there were pockets where there was nobody on the streets, pockets where there were a few people about, then other pockets where people were milling about and going about their business as usual?
Yes, correct. So on one side of the town where Marchpen Road is, that's where the big mall is and the clock is, there are many people there. And I assume that's because that's the easiest way to leave the town.
Yes,
so on the
close
other
to the
side,
bypass, the exit, yes.
So on the other side where the JUTC bus park is and the main bus park for Spanish Town, there aren't many people. So in the JUTC bus park, there were no buses in there. So everybody had to go up to the top side to get a bus or to come off. And police officers were also very present around there, and that's where they were stopping buses and searching. They also went into some of the volatile communities nearby, so I believe that's why many people weren't there. And we even saw residents who live in those communities running out. I guess they didn't want to be in there in the event something happened. So that was the case
partially, fear in some areas, but business as usual in others.
Did you hear gunshots while you were on the ground?
No, I did not. I don't think things did not escalate because the police presence was so high. Yeah, and we even KFC was open and people were going about their business as usual. Juicy Patties was open. Many places were open, but schools and other places in the vicinity had sent out advisories that parents should come for their students, their children. Lastly,
so you mentioned it's the Oasis Shopping Centre close to Marchpen Road.
Yes.
Then the other big plaza will be the Sagicor / LOJ Plaza. So the JUTC, they closed their lay-by, as you attested to, but they asked passengers to come to the Sagicor Plaza to be picked up.
Yes.
And of course, if you're coming into Spanish Town, you'll be let off there. Was the plaza, the Sagicor Plaza, did it appear to be opened, or were there just the vendors on the outskirts as usual?
It was open with vendors outside. Not certain if the stores inside were open, right. But I do know the facility itself was open and the vendors were pretty much outside. People were walking in and out of the facility. It seemed that was the side that was most festive in Spanish Town. Yes.
And I did say last, but this is the last one. Did you get the sense from the police, having spoken to them, that they had the situation under control, or were they still transmitting the vibe that they were dealing with a volatile situation at that time?
I would say it gave a feeling of both, simply because we went into Taws Meadows, which is where it's most sensitive right now.
Yeah, so that's where Loban is from.
Yes. Many police officers were there, including ACP Phillips and others. And he assured us that they do have it under control. And while I can understand and get some comfort out of it, it's worrying seeing that so many officers have to be there to have it under control. So it gives you the feeling that if somebody leaves or if a few officers leave, things go right back to square one.
Did you see them doing house-to-house searches in Taws Meadows?
Not while I was there, but I did see 2 persons under arrest.
Okay, there you go. T.G. Kelly, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
That's our star reporter, T.G. Kelly. She was on the ground in Spanish Town this morning, looking around at the business community as the police went about their work to restore order to the old capital. I turn my attention now to the mayor of Spanish Town, the chairman of the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, Norman Scott. Mayor Scott, good evening. Welcome to Lead Story CVM TV.
Good evening to your listeners, and thanks for having me.
Good. Mayor, the situation...
You just pulled me out of my town hall meeting up in the, Potsdam.
Oh, you're in Potsdam. We know you're on the campaign trail because you have some serious business to take care of later on this year when the general election comes around. But Mayor, your town, the town that you have direct responsibility for, shut down today because of...
No.
No?
Part of the town.
There you go.
Part of the town.
Okay.
A part of the town.
So tell me where.
Your reporter just told you clearly a while ago.
Hold on, Mayor.
It was a part of the town.
So, Mayor, hold on, Mayor. We invited you to provide that kind of clarity. So, if we wanted to say your town was shut down, we'd have said it and not invited you. But you are here. Tell us what the situation was from a commerce perspective based on the reports you got.
Well, the way Spanish Town, the geographics of it, it's the way it is situated. There are pockets of areas that are what I'd call loyal to different political parties. The section of the area that is loyal to the JLP, of which this person who is a reputed gang leader of the One Order gang, that's the area that of the town that was where the commerce was drawn to an halt today. The other section of the town was very much vibrant, up and running, and I could say commerce was very much active today.
So, Mayor, let me take you up on the way you put that, because you put it plainly. So I'm going to follow the line that you have cast. So you're saying based on Loban's antecedents and his association with the One Order gang, they say he was the leader, and we know what they say about the JLP and the One Order gang. You're saying that there was disruption on that side, but are you saying that the PNP Klansman side was settled? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know about any Klansman. I will tell you that the section of the town that is loyal to the People's National Party, all the commerce was very much active. The KFC was up. Both KFCs was up and running. The two big plazas were up and running, and the vendors in that general area were up and running.
Based on what the police have said, how much work do they have to do beyond this evening to get the volatile sections of the town to settle?
Well, I hasten to say that the police are doing their job, but I would want to say also that at the PMI, Peace Management Initiative, was not discarded or disbanded, they would have been in the place early and would have been able to start some kind of social intervention to have this area under much more control and for the citizens of this area to be up and running.
Who disbanded the PMI?
Huh?
Who disbanded the PMI?
Well, it's no longer in operation. Have you heard about it?
So who disbanded it? I'm just asking you.
Well, a question that you can get the answers for.
No, but Mayor, come on, no, Mayor. You mentioned it, you know.
I'm saying,
yes.
And I'm saying
yes.
that the PMI is no longer active, and had they been active, they would have been in the area early because these are the reasons for them.
Yeah. So let me ask you the question directly then. Did you disband the PMI?
No.
Okay. All right. So the PMI is disbanded, you didn't do it, but you leave it out there hanging. So, but let me ask you though, Mayor, you say if the PMI was active, this would not have happened. But here we have people reacting violently to the security forces, one, trying to apprehend someone who they say was a person of interest in at least 4 murders and other crimes. So they reacted violently towards that. Then the police did their job. They say they were confronted by this gentleman. They cut him down in a shootout, and they reacted violently to that. How would the establishment or the presence of a PMI prevent this violent reaction to something of the nature that we saw last night?
Social intervention is what is necessary to take these young people, to teach them, have them actively engage in community works, and so an issue of this nature could have been prevented.
I take the point that you're making about general, in terms of a general speak, what those communities need, but again, they're reacting to the killing of their Don, and they reacted violently in the moment. You're saying, you maintain that the PMI would have prevented this from happening?
The PMI would have been able to make the kind of intervention that would have made this a much, I would say, a smoother operation.
Lastly, Mayor, what would you say to those people who have business to do in Spanish Town Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday, and are watching the news, hearing about the volatility there, and they want to know whether or not it's safe for them to go about their business from tomorrow? What say you to them?
Well, based on the reports coming from the police, the security forces, they say they have everything under control, and I have no reason to doubt them, and therefore I would tell the operators of business. As a matter of fact, I will tell you, I operate 2 businesses in that general area.
And your staff were out and working today?
We closed at 12 noon today because there was no customers coming.
Yes. So based on what you know, you're saying Spanish Town is open for business now and will be open for business on Friday?
Well, again, I'm going by the assurance given by the acting ACP that they have everything under control. I'll tell my staff to come to work tomorrow, and I hope that we will have a fair day tomorrow. I know that the tension is still high, but once the security forces are out in their numbers, they'll be able to control things.
Hear you on that. Thank you for your time this evening, Mayor. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
Mayor of Spanish Town, Norman Scott, he says he's at a campaign meeting. He's lining up to be the PNP's candidate in Southeast St. Elizabeth at the next general election. Quick break here on Lead Story. Back with more. I'll speak with the man in charge of the Chamber of Commerce in St. Catherine.
Join my private room. Only $1,000 for a grand time.
That I know me. We never said that. But who going to believe me?
That is correct. $4,350,000. Yes, go ahead. $4 million? I never approved that. Yes, me go doctor tomorrow. So me have to get the money today, no longer. Then no me face that. I never make no record or beg nobody no money.
Deepfakes are AI-generated images and videos made to look and sound like people we know and trust. They're used to spread misinformation, destroy reputations, and are used to commit fraud and scams. Don't fall victim to deepfakes. Protect yourself. For more information, visit broadcastingcommission.org or scan the QR code on screen.
Back with us on Lead Story as we get the full picture concerning Spanish Town. The international media have picked up the story reporting that the old capital locked down today because of the confrontation between members of the security forces, gunmen and residents. The residents and the gunmen angry at the killing of the leader of the One Order gang, Othniel Laban, aka Tickman or Daddy Badness, who was cut down in a confrontation with members of the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force in 6 miles in the vicinity of Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew at about 10 p.m. on Wednesday evening. The president of the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce, Dennis Robotham, joins me this evening. Good evening, Dennis.
Hi, evening, the incomparable George Davy.
Thank you very much, my friend. Tell me something, Dennis. In terms of commercial activity in the old capital today, I know you're a man quick with the numbers in your brain. What do you estimate that businesses would have lost in terms of business on this Thursday by virtue of what happened what has happened since about 5 a.m. today?
Well, I put it in the billions, because as the mayor was saying, Spanish Town, the market district, was completely shut down, totally. Commercial activity ceased as of this morning, and nothing has been going through since then. There had been a number of roadblocks which negated against any of our businesses opening, and on the advice of the police at the time, but they had things under control. But as you know, George, once that when the crime and violence raises its ugly head in Spanish Town, it is going to run both the business people and the consumers out of the area, which is what exactly happened.
Yeah.
As you know, it's going to take a while to bring it back
to normal.
You're saying something?
Yeah, I was saying to you that the issue that the court, well, very early today we saw a message from Jambar, the Jamaican Bar Association, Dennis, advising members to avoid Spanish Town. There was a message about a judge having to run off the bench in a courthouse. The courthouse was shut down. The Court Administration Division issued that advisory. So it wasn't just the businesses selling commercial produce. Other businesses carrying on business activity, because a court is a business of the state, couldn't function because of the issue. Based on what you know, what are things looking like for Friday? A huge shopping day and a business day. Shopping day for the consumers, business day for the merchants. What does Friday look like based on how things are now?
Well, it's going to be, tense. Tense calm will exist, because that's the usual method or way that it is approached. Most people will come skeptical because they are still looking and hearing things on the ground that things might happen and that sort of thing. So it is something that will take a while. Usually it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get back into the rhythm of things. And that is why we have a problem. As Mia was saying, we are so delicately poised, because on one side is one set of gang and the other side is another set. And when it affects both sides, regardless of, because a lot of people didn't come out or didn't move through that area that would have possibly, enhanced business activity, stayed out of the area. So whether it is that side or that side, it is a hampering effect on commercial activity and other effects. Schools were closed. Almost every school in the area was brought to a halt.
Yeah.
And expectedly so because of security reasons.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I'm sure you would have exchanged some messages among your colleagues in the chamber on WhatsApp. Do you have an assessment of what percentage of the Chamber of Commerce's membership would have either closed their business early today or not opened at all?
at least 50% would have, because half of them is in the old capital, the market district.
Yeah.
Another half is over the other side. So it will be divided. But, everybody had to close early because there was no customer, because everybody stayed from the area.
Yeah. I'm running out of time, Dennis. What's your message? What's your message to your members this evening who are nervous and uncertain about what is happening tomorrow, based on the nature of Spanish Town? It's a very unique place. The badness is almost unique, and we're not saying that as a badge of honor. It's a fact. What do you say to your members who are nervous about business tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, Dennis?
Most of our members and most people in that area are veterans. They understand the system. They will come out. The fact is that the consumer might not, but they will trickle in as time goes on. I'd say to them, based on what the SSP has said, St. Catherine North commanding officer, that everything is under control. There is going to be adequate patrolling, boots on the ground, that sort of thing, which will enhance the security aspect of it. So I would say to them, come out and let us move the thing, and let's not be scared, because we can't allow a couple of people to call us into our corner. We have got to stand up and move to another level.
Hear you on that. Dennis Robotham, appreciate your time always, and all the best to you and your colleagues over there in Spanish Town.
Thank you, George. Have a safe one.
Thank you. Dennis Robotham there, president of the St. Catherine Chamber of Commerce. Well, messages have been flying around on social media all day about how the gunmen intend to take revenge for the killing of Othniel Laban. They're saying that, quote-unquote, police must dead back. And this is a video where we've blurred as best as possible men with high-powered rifles who are, getting themselves in the mood to go and cause mayhem. And the police, the security forces, are pursuing a mission. They're under instruction that wherever the gangs are, they must crush them. A national anti-gang strategy that is being pursued by the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force. And it was part of that, in pursuit of the objectives of that task force, that was how Othniel Laban came to meet his untimely end in that shooting incident in 6 Miles at about 10 p.m. on Wednesday at 42 years old. All right, that's my time this evening. Make way now for the news at 7.
Welcome everybody, we are back.
Season 2 of the Holy Road, Season 2, we are here. Let me tell you, I am super excited to be on for another season to show you the Holy Road.
Listen, new adventures, we might be moving further out of Kingston, further out of anywhere nearby, to find the crevices and the corners that have the most unique stories.
We are back for Season 2 of Corner Office.
Back to school time.
We are highlighting small businesses, hard-working Jamaicans who are doing their own thing in their own spaces. People who are in their role, bossing up their role.
Let's go!
Let's get it.
It's not if you own the company or not, it's how you own the role.
I feel like I'm patient right now.
Guess what? It is your Corner Office. Season 2, bigger and better. And guess what? You think it's not yet? Check it out. We're there in the place. Undercover. Easy yourself.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Are you really going to miss this? Prove you're not that guy. Every step counts. Sign up now. The time by Sagicor Sigma run is
7 o'clock. CVM News at 7 Headlines Thursday. Brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure. Live easy.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, Spanish Town tense after fiery flare-up. Heavy security presence in Tawes Meadows. PNP skips Republic talks after final court row. In the business report, BCIC awaits green light for purchase of JN shares. While in sports, Athenaeus backs Windies to improve in second test.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7 for Thursday, January 23, 2025. Thanks for having joined us. I'm Nika Lewis. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is making its presence felt in Jamaica's old capital. This follows numerous acts of violence in and around the town since Wednesday. Our reporter Trisha Gay Kelly was on location today.
So this is what the JUTC bus park in Spanish Town, St. Catherine looks like now. No buses are coming inside and there are no buses leaving. So most of the commuters using this mode of transportation have been forced to meet the bus by the top side of the town where they are letting off passengers and picking up.
St. Catherine remains under heavy police presence following a series of crimes in the area. The day started out with much fear as reports of a fire at the Courts Bargain Center spread rapidly through the town.
So this is a shattered piece of glass, a part of the many pieces that are on the ground. The stuff inside are pretty much damaged. There are refrigerators, there are stoves. The damage, we don't know how much it will cost them, but it looks extensive.
Can't specifically speak as regard to details, but prior to our clients, we owe them an obligation. So we provide that specific coverage, that peace of mind, and as regard to reassurance.
The incident, along with roadblocks in numerous sections of the town, forced public passenger vehicle drivers to find alternate routes to the town square, while others simply turned back. Even JUTC operators were no longer using their designated park. Spanish Town was slowly becoming a ghost town. However, for some areas, it was business as usual.
The Christmas wasn't really the best Christmas I ever seen. So the Christmas was really slow. So I didn't really make a lot of profit, and you know it's January. So I just come out early to see if I could pick a little much and go back in.
You know, when I go home and less, we see every year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And every year, when we will turn on the light.
But as the day progressed, the police ramped up their security efforts.
As you can see behind me, law enforcement is making their way yet into another community where they are searching. So we've seen them searching buses, unloading buses, searching vehicles, searching even people on the road. I know we've even seen students, parents picking up their children from school. We've seen students leaving the town. For the most part, that's the aim for everybody here in the town square. They're trying to evacuate.
One thing is certain, as it is now, we have the area under control. I do understand that persons, in fear. Some persons close business early. Some schools are now closed, and we understand that precaution. But I want you to trust us that we have things under control now, and people really can go about their lawful business.
Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And following a protest and backlash relating to their operations since Wednesday, the police are standing their ground in the Tawes Meadows community. The area is currently under a curfew, which is expected to be extended as tensions remain high. Trisha Gay Kelly continues our coverage.
The Tawes Meadows community in Spanish Town, St. Catherine is still being monitored by the security forces after the community made headlines on Wednesday when residents protested police operations in the area. But fuel was added to fire when a reputed Don was killed by police in 6 Mile, St. Andrew Wednesday night. Unconfirmed reports suggest that matters escalated in the community and members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force quickly made their way there.
Yesterday we had a flare flare up in this community as a result of an operation going after a man known by the name Ron. Later on in the night, there was a fatal shooting in the St. Andrew South division involving a man who is considered a strong leader or a strong man in this part of the world.
The deceased has been identified as Othniel Loban, also known as Thickman, who was a person of interest for the JCF and even the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force. His death sparked even more chaos in and around the busy town.
Although the two incidents are, unrelated in terms of operation that was taking place here and the operation that took place in St. Andrews South, we understand that he's also connected to this community. And so there was further reaction by the people when the news of his demise went out last night.
The police report that several roads were blocked and there were attempts to set multiple buildings on fire. However, ACP Phillips says the force has the situation under control.
Into the morning, we again had strong presence on the ground. We were able to control the situation. I believe, though, that the kind of reaction that we have seen is really indicative of the kind of psychological control and impact that gangsterism continues to have on some of our garrison-type communities. And so that's what you see playing out here.
The police are now in search of a man by the name of Tawane, who is suspected to be Loban's cousin. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
In other news now, a bold political stand or a missed opportunity. The People's National Party PNP delivered on their threat to boycott Wednesday's critical meeting of the Joint Select Committee on Constitutional Reform. The absence has sparked controversy as lawmakers debate the monumental shift to establish Jamaica as a republic. Ramon Gordon has the details.
The move follows an ultimatum last week at the first meeting of the Joint Select Committee discussing Jamaica's transition to a republic. Opposition leader Mark Golding had warned that the PNP would withdraw from the process if the government failed to state its position on the Privy Council.
How can the vast majority of the Jamaican people be left behind, particularly in a process of decolonization? Why should they continue to remain deprived of the fundamental right of access to justice at the highest level?
Golding wants to make the Caribbean Court of Justice Jamaica's final appeals court. The boycott Wednesday left one of Jamaica's most important sit-downs without opposition input, raising questions about the unity of the process.
I was just seeking clarification on when you extended apologies on behalf of the leader of the opposition. And
no, I did not extend the apology. I simply noted for the record what was communicated to me by the committee clerk, that the members indicated that they would not attend.
The absence of opposition members was impossible to ignore, with Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort expressing unease at what she called a dangerous politicization of a process critical to Jamaica's future.
Prime Minister Holness has been very deliberate in not politicizing this process. We can't set national goals about which there is no dispute. And then we start playing politics.
Golding's demands for clarity on whether Jamaica will adopt the CCJ remain at the heart of the conflict. Some critics are arguing it's time to close the door on the UK-based appeals court.
It is prohibitive because we have a weak currency, we have to pay in pounds, and many persons who would have been able to go to that court and possibly win their cases because of the cost of going there, justice has not been realized.
Is the PNP's stand a principled fight or a political gamble with potentially greater implications?
There is some principles behind why they're staying away from the entire process at this point, because they haven't had, I would say, assurances as it relates to what the next move would be. We do contribute to the Caribbean Court of Justice. As a matter of fact, one of the justices, he is indeed Jamaican. And we're saying that Jamaica needs to come to the Caribbean Court of Justice. They have their points to score, and if their supporters are of the view that we need to look at this court issue immediately as an immediate part of the process, then, they're appealing to their supporters, and that's what political parties do.
The committee is set to address opposition inquiries at its next sitting. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
And as Jamaica moves closer to becoming a republic, a debate over modernizing language used in the Constitution has emerged. At the latest meeting of the Joint Select Committee on the Constitution Amendment Republic Act, discussions shifted briefly to justice, with committee members debating how to make the country's laws more accessible to the average citizen. Here again is Ramon Gordon.
A push to simplify Jamaica's legal language emerged at Wednesday's committee meeting. Senator Shireen Golding Campbell questioned whether laws should be written for average Jamaicans to grasp.
We still, even in the 2000s, use Latin phrases. Ought there to be, let me frame it that way, something in our constitutional bill that speaks to a method of drafting our laws in language plain as necessary for our people to understand.
The debate comes as lawmakers go over legislation to establish a Jamaican republic. Senator Golding Campbell argued that technical language alienates citizens from their rights, noting that modern laws still echo colonial conventions.
I do not use Old English in contract writing anymore. It's certainly far easier for my clients to understand what the provisions of the agreements are.
But Constitutional Affairs Minister Marlene Malahoo Fort countered, saying laws can't always be simple, stressing education's role in closing the local knowledge gap.
I think the knowledge gap in the society has been a greater determinant of people's inability to interact with the laws. What we have to do is to bring up the society with a level of education and understanding.
The debate brought into focus the broader question of accessibility, with Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice Mikel Jackson offering a measured perspective.
Even those who are formally educated may still have some difficulty in understanding simply because of how things are structured. One must still be cautious, because you can appreciate that a wording in law may very well change a meaning that could find us placing ourselves in problems, so to speak.
Jackson argued that the immediate solution lies in civics education, starting at the primary school level. But the exchange between the leaders also touched on the drafting process itself, with the committee chair chiding representatives in the lower house.
Remember, though, that after a draft is produced, it is the parliamentarians who pass the laws. And very often, the work to review the clause of the bill to say, hold on, this clause is too technically written, is not done by the parliament.
But certainly our lawmakers are there. A lot of them are attorneys themselves. So if there is a difficulty in how something is structured, I think they have the duty to see how best we can use modern language rather than, again, that British legal tradition.
Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
There's more to come on CVM News at 7, right after this break.
CVM News at 7, Headlines Thursday, brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy.
At Hypro, farming is in our DNA, so we know the value of all you do. Whether you're an experienced farmer, the farmer just starting out, or the farmer looking to shake things up, we are here to support you at every step, providing high-quality feeds, chicks, farm supplies, and technical support whenever you need. From chickens to livestock to crops, choose Hypro. Let's get it done together.
Would you like to serve your country as an election day worker? Apply at your nearest EOJ constituency office. Bring your valid ID and TRN. Together, we can ensure free and fair elections.
Welcome everybody, we are back.
Season 2 of the Holy Road, Season 2, we are here. Let me tell you, I am super excited to be on for another season to show you the Holy Road.
Listen, new adventures, we might be moving further out of Kingston, further out of anywhere nearby, to find the crevices and the corners that have the most unique stories.
Thanks for staying with us. Continuing the news, residents of Central Kingston are refuting claims that one of their own shot dead by the police during an incident early Thursday was a criminal. They held a peaceful protest demanding justice for the man they call Sandokan. Another fatal shooting, this time on 7 to 9 Arden Road, where it's reported that an off-duty policeman was reportedly attacked by a worker at the popular Kingston establishment during a confrontation. Community members in Central Kingston, where he resides, identified the victim as Jermaine Richards, otherwise called Sandokan. Commanding officer for the St. Andrews Central Police Division, DSP Mark Harris, told CVM News the injured man died at hospital. He also shared that the Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom is probing the matter. However, the story that made its way into the victim's community didn't sit well with those who knew and respected him.
The altercation gone, not where him dead. The altercation gone round on the compound, Ribbies. Him dead round by the car park. They kill him round by the car park. No crime scene, no nothing. We couldn't find the body, nothing at all. We couldn't find the body, nothing at all. Till just now, we know where the body is and we still can't get account of him dead and whatever. As people work there saying that, them come to search the premises, start to argument with him, beat him reach from the ground and go over him and shoot him in his chest.
He works at the Uptown Ribbies and Arden. Okay. We woke up this morning and get a call that they kill him. Police officer kill him on his workplace and the premises. Dispute with him and him box him down and step over him and give him multiple shots. Now we'll go to Tranquility, no Jermaine. We'll go to Public, no Jermaine. His family member just found out that he's at UC Hospital. Found him into a body bag. Come on, what's the motive? Jermaine Richards is no gunman. Sandokan is no gunman.
Hardworking and kind is how the locals described Richards.
And he mind his 3 children, nobody reached 10-year-old. Right now his mother have him and his brothers and sisters and filing. No story, no capping. What you gonna tell this mom now? About her good child that goes to work and lost his life. So we want to know what's the motive. Mr. Manager of Ribbies, of Uptown, we need to know what happened to Jermaine Richard, that he lost his life.
At a time when some Jamaicans proudly declare themselves side chicks and side men, 2 local attorneys are cautioning singles embracing the common law status to think twice. This after a ruling in the courts recently that left one woman feeling disenfranchised and denied her claim to assets acquired during a common law relationship of 12 years. Singles beware, a warning from 2 attorneys at law after a Supreme Court decision in relation to a matter involving a woman and her alleged common law spouse.
My client has been receiving a lot of calls, a lot of queries, a lot of interest in the matter, and we just want to set the record straight as to exactly what it is that took place. My client was in a common law relationship with the defendant for approximately 12 years, and they had made a decision together to acquire certain assets. The relationship broke down in 2018, and the claim related to my client's attempt to obtain a portion of the assets after the breakdown of the relationship.
The attorney says her client wanted to be declared the man's spouse and sought a 50% share of the assets they acquired together. She says The declaration was, however, not honored by the court. Subsequently, a judgment was issued and an appeal sought by the client's lawyers.
To guide now anybody making an application for a declaration of this sort at the Supreme Court, you have to be very clear in relation to your status. You're a single man, you're a single woman. It has to be specifically pleaded in order to satisfy the court that yes, you are in fact single. And then now the court will go on to consider whether or not you were cohabiting and whether or not you satisfy the other requirements of PROSA.
But the judge stopped short of declaring her client a spouse as she felt enough evidence was not offered for same in relation to her status. PROSA, being the Property Rights of Spouses Act, that facilitates the lawful and equitable division of properties as a result of a relationship, whether marriage or common law. Common law in the Jamaican context refers to a man and a woman both single and cohabitating for at least 5 years.
You have to ensure that you protect yourself financially. Ensure that if you're acquiring assets together, that your name is also registered as a legal title owner. Because unlike a marriage where if there is a divorce, you become entitled to 50% of the matrimonial home, if you're in a common law relationship, a court has to declare you as being a spouse before you become entitled. So you have to go through a process of proving that you're entitled. So if you wish to avoid all of that, the best thing to do is to ensure that you are registered as a title owner on any assets that you pool your resources together to purchase.
Do stay with us. There's more to come after this break.
Thanks to my Prime Minister for this opportunity. For me to be a homeowner
who was living in a terrible condition for so many years. Thank you again.
We just try to make life goes on with the little that we have.
It is the aspiration of the government. It is what the government tries to do every day to lift people out of poverty into a decent life. The new social housing program is a key component of the social safety net.
As I've always said, this is probably one of the most fulfilling programs for me because you literally see the transformation of people's lives.
No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
Welcome back. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today, as the British Caribbean insurance company BCIC enters the final phase of its purchase of shares in JN General Insurance Company Limited JNGI from the JN Financial Group Limited. As disclosed by Managing Director of BCIC, Peter Levy, the acquisition is subject to regulatory review and the sale will not be finalised until approval from the Financial Services Commission is received.
BCIC signed an agreement with the JN Group for the purchase of their shares in JNGI, JN General Insurance. At this point, it has been sent to the regulators for their review, and hopefully they will approve that acquisition in a short time, and we will be then free to complete the transaction in the form of the transfer of the shares from JN Group to BCIC. Subsequent to that, we will put together a plan for bringing together the two companies so that we are able to present a stronger and larger company and bring the full benefits of that larger entity to all our policyholders.
JNGI, formerly known as NEM Insurance, is one of the largest and longest operating general insurance companies in Jamaica, having been established in 1934, and should the purchase be approved, would elevate BCIC, which was founded in 1962, as the undisputed leading general insurance company in the country.
Well, we are already among the leaders in terms of total premium income, and this will put us pretty firmly as the market leader. It will open up a bit of a gap between us and the next biggest. But primarily, we are driven not so much by overall market share, but by the ability to deliver differentiated products and services and pricing to our customers, and maximizing our ability to service them in a way that provides reasonable return to our shareholders.
BCIC is also the only Jamaican general insurer rated by an internationally recognized credit rating agency with a rating of B++ by AM Best, with operations in Jamaica, Barbados, and Turks and Caicos.
BCIC has been growing very well over the past 7, 8, maybe 10 years. And we have brought a number of efficiencies to the way we do business. Our processing times for much of what we do are industry leading. We are investing quite heavily in technology, and in particular, that technology is a enabler that works better the bigger the scale that you're operating on. So the technology has a fixed cost, and if you can put 100,000 transactions a month through it, you do a lot better than if you can put 50,000 transactions a month through it. Your unit cost goes down.
During the period between signing and the finalization of the sale, all JNGI branches will continue to operate as usual. However, should the purchase be granted regulatory approval, existing customers and new ones will have quite a bit to consider.
One of the things we're definitely going to do is we're going to have to look at all the locations where JNGI operates from and all the locations where BCIC operates from. And there will be both sets of policyholders, so to speak, will have an expansion in their locations from which they can choose to provide the service. I think in terms of the impact on the policyholders of JN General and the policyholders of BCIC, I think what we're going to see is a very high level of service delivery and hopefully efficiencies in operations, and the ability to negotiate with reinsurers, etc., from a much stronger base, resulting in better service, better products, and potentially cheaper insurance. But also, we're going to be looking at the product offerings that both companies have and picking the ones that represent the best proposal for the best value proposition for the policyholders. So even the BCIC policyholders may have some options available to them in the future that we haven't offered before.
The company, which underwrites major lines of insurance including property, motor, accident, engineering, liability, marine and financial guarantees, is also the winner of the 2024 Clearmark Award for Plain Language Excellence, a quality the BR considers consistent with the managing director's sentiments in describing the rationale behind the purchase pending approval.
In respect of the driver for the acquisition of the JNGI, which we hope will become reality, and we hope that the regulators will bless it. The JN brand has just been a tremendous brand in Jamaica for many years, and that was actually a really big part of the attraction for us, is the ability, although we won't be operating with that name, obviously, because we're not part of that group. But the loyalty that they've developed with their customers, just generally, is something that we is helped in terms of the attractiveness of the proposition, but also the fact that JN Group trusts us with their customers is something that we don't at all take lightly, and we will be doing everything we can do to honor that trust.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crossgill.
We take a break. Stay with us.
Anything for the taste of a KFC, big deal. The time by KFC is
7:30. You can get so much more when you shop on credit at Quartz. Get more of the furniture, appliances, and electronic brands you love with up to 30% off all January. Get more flexibility with low monthly payments and up to 48 months to repay. Get more of what you need right away and pay later. Get more convenient repayment methods via Quartz.com, bank transfer, or in-store. Get more protection for your purchase with Super Shield. Get more value with Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
We are back for season 2 of Corner Office.
Back to school time.
We are highlighting small businesses, hardworking Jamaicans who are doing their own thing in their own spaces. People who are in their role, bossing up their role.
Let's go! Let's get it.
It's not if you own the company or not, it's how you own the role.
I feel like I'm patient right now.
Guess what? It is your Corner Office. Season 2, bigger and better. And guess what? You don't think it's not yet? Check it out. We're the end of the place. Undercover. Easy yourself.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's see what's happening now on social media.
So what's trending in our local social media spaces? Security forces in Spanish Town, St. Catherine have heightened their presence and vigilance following the fatal shooting of a top figure in the One Order gang, which sparked violent retaliations, including the burning of courts in the area. Here are some of your reactions. At Bright IB writes, so what did courts have to do with the situation at hand? At Janice Joy writes, shares, so what does the person property have to do with the killing? At Dre Royce says, why? If only we as a nation would direct more of our energy into something good. At KK Gems posts, boys go get a skill, make money honest and stop the badness, it don't pay. At Walker_Errol adds, yes, police officers, clean up the country, Jamaica for the 2025. At Sperry-Low Wisdom comments, it's disheartening to see the ongoing violence and unrest in St. Catherine. The recent incident involving the reputed gang leader highlights the urgent need for decisive action. And that's what's trending online today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM Television on Facebook. I'm Trisha Gay Kelly.
Now to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Plans are afoot for the metric system of measurement to be fully implemented across the government sector within 12 months. Permanent Secretary in the Trade Ministry, Ambassador Clarence Pilgrim, says the initiative is being spearheaded by the Antigua and Barbuda Bureau of Standards. ABS TV Antigua tells us more.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Trade, Ambassador Clarence Pilgrim, says this is the government's latest attempt to update Antigua and Barbuda's measurement practices.
In the past, where an attempt was made to implement the metrication policy. This